Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and greetings to Madam Afida Arafah. My name is Datu Izon Amir bin Datu Abdul Jalil. Together with my friends,
My name is Nikia Adriana binti Arifin.
My name is Nurfada binti Asmar.
Hi, my name is Nur Azza binti Arifin.
today we are going to explain main provisions and financial provisions under Local Government Act 1976, Act 171 that enhance the performance of local government.
Local Government Act 1976, Act 171, was introduced to initiate comprehensive restructuring of the country's local government system. It is a Malaysian system which was adopted to reform and consolidate laws relating to the local government. This act only covers the peninsula of Malaysia, as Sabah and Sarawak has different acts according to their state. The main aim for this act is to improve and preserve local government efficiently and effectiveness in Malaysia. The Local Government Act 171 consists of 15 parts, which comprise of 166 sections and 2 schedules, including 7 amendments. This act has aided the local government in producing an improved and good performance in carrying out its responsibilities to all the citizens and as well as to the state. In this assignment, we will explain how the implementations of the main provisions of this Local Government Act can connect to its functions and how it can strengthen its financial management.
The Local Government Act of 1976 was enacted to update and integrate local government laws, whereas it is desirable to enact legislation relating to local government for the sole purpose of establishing uniformity and policy. This act is known as the Local Government Act of 1976 and it only applies to Peninsular Malaysia. Act 171 has remained in its original shape for the past 4 decades, with 166 sections and 2 schedules grouped into 16 parts. Local government is the third tier of government in Malaysia, and it is a crucial element for expanding policies and implementing relevant plans and programs passed by the federal and state governments. It began in Peninsular Malaysia and quickly advanced to Sabah and Sarawak. Malaysia's local government system is heavily dependent on its organizations and structure to function. The legislative framework and the connections that exist between local authorities, the federal government and the state government have an impact on those in particular. Aside from that, the local government has regulatory responsibilities. It refers to the Local Government Act of 1976, which discussed by laws from time to time based on Act 171 Section 102, and they can also amend and cancel laws if they believe it is necessary. Different local governments have their own bylaws since the law will only apply in one location and will not apply in another. This law must be enforced in order to maintain peace and harmony in the area. For example, the parking ticket fines in Alor Star are 40 cents for 30 minutes, which the Alor Star City Council has made a law requiring individuals to pay. Furthermore, in terms of construction, if a developer wishes to construct a house, a commercial structure, they must first obtain approval from the local government. According to the Act, local governments have the authority to carry out and conduct any of the provisions of the Federal Constitution. The term functional autonomy refers to the functions and powers of local government. If we look at the Federal Constitution, we can see that it contained a concurrent list which stated the power of local government. This is critical because we did not want the local government to become embroiled in a dispute with the other parties. If we look at the Local Government Act of 1976, Act 171, we can see that some of the parts specify the functions of local governments, so we will go through some of them because local governments have a lot of functions. Service functions, regulatory duties, representation functions, community planning, and coordination activities and participation functions are some of the functions that the local government can perform.
Today I'm going to present about the main provision in the Local Government Act 171 and it related to its function. There are a few main provisions in the Local Government Act 171 that aims to increase and maintain the efficiency, also the effectiveness of the local government, particularly in Peninsular Malaysia. There are a few main provisions that will be explained on how the provision helps in terms of enhancing the performance of the local government. Firstly, in Part 2 of Administration of Local Authorities, under Section 4 in the Local Government Act 171, regarding the change of name and status, alteration of the boundaries. It stated that under Clause 2, which is the status of a local authority area, might be changed and may be notified in the Gazette with the power of state authority in consultation with the minister and local authority. Some of the local areas may be developed in terms of economically, population and industrial area, and hence the local government, such as the district council, may be merged into a bigger council depending on the area that has achieved the requirements in upgrading the council. For example, in Negeri Sembilan, the municipal councils of Seremban and Nilai has been merged into one local authority which transformed into Seremban City Council, MBS, that has been passed by the Negeri Sembilan State Legislative Assembly. This merging of two municipal councils clearly get to give more efficiency toward each area, as the Seremban City Council is a bigger council that will give optimum effort in providing more facilities and services to the local community.
Next, Section 64 is about the public places. Under Clause 1, it mentioned that new public spaces may be created, constructed or laid out, and under Clause 2, it stated that they also have the authority to open, enlarge or to improve any public site. For example, Teluk Intan Municipal Council has decided to add 1,000 new parking spaces at Teluk Intan Hospital to overcome the problem of congestion at the hospital. As the result, it brings great benefits especially to the hospital staff, patients and family members who come to the hospital.
Next, in the part of food, market, sanitation and nuisance of the Local Government Act 171, under Section 72, which among the provisions stated that the local authority functioning to protect and promote public health by taking all the essential and reasonable action, also practices in preventing communicable infectious diseases that may be occurred and spread to the community. Thus, they need to be accountable for keeping the area within its jurisdiction by creating a clean condition and proper guidance for the convenience of the people. For instance, in the state of Pulang Pinang, the Seberang Perai City Council has taken the initiative to decrease the spreading of dengue cases and chikungunya in the area by actively carrying out cleaning and prevention work. According to the Penang Health Department, there are 182 dengue cases and 39 cases of chikungunya at Seberang Perai. They took immediate action by executing the anti-larva spray, disposing of the larva breeding spots and cleaning the public areas that recorded highest cases of these two diseases. Therefore, the local authority shall be distributing their workforce to contribute in ensuring the safety of the community. Furthermore, under the same part, which is food, market, sanitation and nuisance of the local government, in the provision of 82 of notice requiring abatement of the nuisance, among the provision listed that a notice that has been served of an individual and he needs to comply with any of the requirements that stated in the notice within the time specified, he shall be guilty towards the offence and liable to a fine not exceeding 1,000 ringgit or imprisonment not surpass 6 months or to both. This order may be issued by the magistrate court under a nuisance. According to this provision, the local authority has the power to give notice to an individual or a person that is liable to the offence due to any nuisance that occurs in a particular place or condition. The local authority must ensure that the community shall be following the regulation that has been stated, and if disobey, they shall be given a fair decision by giving the notice to prevent any nuisance existed. To relate with this provision, Kuala Lumpur City Hall, DBKL, has issued a notice of compound to the real estate developer that develops a housing construction nearby the Taman Tasik Metropolitan Kepong that caused contamination into the lake water. The notice that has been issued by DBKL is according to the Section 82 Clause 5 of the Local Government Act 171 due to the nuisance that occurred into the lake water. It is because through investigation, the quality degradation of the lake water is because of the construction works that going on make the water lack oxygen, causing the fish to be killed.
Moreover, under Section 101 of this Act regarding to the further powers of local authority, a local authority shall have the capacity to do all things stated under this section that mention the powers towards the city well-beings. As stated in the Clause G of this provision, the local authority has the power in establishing, promoting and making or receiving financial gifts in relation to the public libraries, art galleries and museums. For instance, the Seremban City Council MBS has decided to open the Negeri Sembilan Chinese Heritage Museum. The purpose of this is to display the uniqueness of Chinese history, heritage, and culture to the public. Hence, with the opening of the museum, it helps to attract domestic and foreign tourists to the city. Furthermore, Section 104, which is bylaws, that is the penalties for breaches of bylaws. The local authority may impose a fine of not more than 2,000 ringgits for any violation of a bylaw and a term of imprisonment of not more than 1 year or both, and a fine of not more than 200 ringgit for each day if the offence is continued. For example, Majlis Bandaraya Shah Alam MBSA has banned smoking, including electronic cigarettes, and drinking alcohol in public parks. In accordance to the new law set by the MBSA, a maximum summons of 1,000 can be imposed on visitors who fail to follow the law. We can see here that the local authorities require penalties to ensure the compliance of the citizen with the laws that have been set. Moreover, under section of 110, which is the power to enter premises, this section explains that any officer of a local authority who has been legally authorized in writing may enter any premises within the local authority area at any reasonable time to exercise any power of inspection and inquiry. For example, in Johor Bahru, a total of 60 visitors to an entertainment center in Danga Utama Trade Center were compounded for violating the Standard Operating Procedure (SOP). As we can see here, the local authority has practiced their right by raiding the entertainment center and entering the premise to ensure that all the citizens are following the law of SOP that are set by the government. This section has empowered the local authority to carry out their duties more effective as well as to ensure the citizens' safety.
Moreover, we move to general financial provisions. In Section 39, it stated the revenue of local government. The local authority can obtain revenue from taxes, non-taxes, and grants from government. For example, the assessment tax, rents, and grants from the federal government. This provision has helped local authority in delivering efficiency and effectiveness towards the public. It is because the local authority can use available resources to develop its area. This can be seen through Kuantan Municipal Council that develop their area and eventually help them to be upgraded to a city council in 2021. Without this provision, the local authority may face difficulties in developing their area as they lack of revenue. Second is Section 40, which is Local Authority Fund. In this section, it stated that all money received by the local authority must be named under Local Authority Fund. For example, there are a few Local Authority Fund established under Kuala Lumpur City Council, DBKL. For example, Development and Maintenance Fund and sourced from private sector. Using these funds, it assists DBKL in providing development and maintenance of public amenities. It can be illustrated when DBKL allocated 90 million ringgit and 31.5 million ringgit for residentials maintenance in 2019 and 2013 respectively. This maintenance could prevent from any unwanted tragedy which can lead to legal action from people due to negligence made by DBKL. Thus, this will cost more to the DBKL. Third is Section 41, which is power to obtain loan. Local government can obtain loan from state government for a few purposes, such as to pay any expenses, procurement of land, to develop any buildings, and to pay existing loan. Using this loan, it helps local authority to execute their duty well. In 2021, Ministry of Housing and Local Government has approved 6.3 million fund to Kuala Langat Municipal Council. This fund can be used by Kuala Langat Municipal Council to enhance the economy and to provide better services to the citizen. It also helps Kuala Langat to be upgraded to City Council in future. This is because the revenue and population of Kuala Langat is closer to the requirement to be a City Council. Fourth is Section 46, which is borrowing for special purposes. Special purposes here means local government can borrow money to develop any project that is related to residential, commercial, and industrial undertakings, which follows by the terms and conditions agreed upon by the two parties. These can be seen through Mediterranean Penang International Convention and Exhibition Center SPICE project, which carried out by Pulau Pinang City Council, MBPP, and private sector SP Setia. This collaboration has enhanced the efficiency of MBPP as they can develop a project with less cost. At the same time, it decreased the MBPP's commitment to the project as the project will be carried out mostly by the private sector. Thus, MBPP can focus to provide better services to the citizen. Lastly, under General Financial Provision is Section 47, which is loans from government. It stated that local authority can obtain loan from federal and state government with rates, terms, and conditions. This can be seen through Ampang Jaya Municipal Council that borrowed 10 million ringgit money from the Selangor state government to repair and stabilize slopes around Ampang. This provision has helped local authority to be more effective as they can fix many issues faced by the citizen. It also can avoid any cost occurred to Ampang Jaya Municipal Council as the issue of slopes is fixed before it could lead to other damage. Thus, this benefits the local authority.
To summarize this written assignment, the Local Government Act 171 gets to ensure the uniformity of law and policy to make a law with the respect to the local government in Peninsular Malaysia. Each local government that consists of City Council, Municipal Council, and District Council are ruled by the same Act and need to perform their function as a local government efficiently. This is because the main provision that listed in the Act are stating the functions and powers that they own as the local authorities. Furthermore, this Local Government Act 171 also explaining the Act regarding on how it gets to enhance its financial powers. The provision that listed under this part gets to help the local authority in executing their duty in terms of financial power. Hence, we can see that with the existence of Local Government Act 171, the local authority gets to refer the law and policy that's stated and shall be following the Act to increase the effectiveness and efficiency in performing their tasks diligently.